Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of OafDiscussions. I'm your host, Kid Swift. With me as always, Mr. Brent.
Doing it for the culture today.
Yeah.
Shayna.
Just be honest, all these girls look like a Build-A-Bay.
And Webb.
It looked like he died, and it's like, well, I don't care.
All right. Record.
And we in.
You are good, brother.
All right, we in there.
Yep.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OafDiscussions, episode 86. I'm your host for the evening, Mr. Webb, Mr. Thoroughbred Webb, whichever way you know me as. With me, to my right, it's Mr. Kid Swift or Mr. Wright. How are you today?
Doing good, brother. Doing good.
All right, then.
Feeling good.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope everybody's feeling good,
Yeah.
feeling patriotic.
A lot of positive energy right now.
Yeah, a lot of positive energy. Also with us on Skype, Mr. Brent, LL Cool B. Where you at?
Man, I'm in the, you know what I'm saying? I'm just feeling real patriotic right now.
I dig it.
Okay, fair enough. And also with us, after her long hiatus, we have Shayna. Shayna, how are you today?
I'm here.
That's good.
And so I hope you like the new setup we got going on here. For those that can see us, and for those that can only hear this, we hope you are feeling as much patriotic as we are, just as patriotic as we are. I can't do this now. Oh my God! So not even a whole week. It wasn't even a whole week ago when. It wasn't even a whole week ago when this happened.
Yeah, it's funny.
And so the All-Star weekend was last weekend.
Yeah.
This is.
That's the best part. That's the best part.
Oh man! All right, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Shout out to that, because
Shout out to Fergie.
Now, welcome back, guys. Thank you for joining us again. If you're on the live, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Like we said, we're back again. It's been a while since we've all been back together. Got to thank Shayna and Brent for joining us, because Louisville is literally washing away right now. So we appreciate you guys broadcasting live from a plank of wood floating down the Ohio River.
Apparently.
But yeah, guys, so how's it going? How's everybody doing? I don't even know who to start with. I'm just glad to be back. We'll start with Shayna. How you doing? It's been a while. How's it going? How's all the baby shower planning and stuff going? What's going on?
I'm hanging in there. I'm tired of being pregnant, y'all.
You're in the home stretch though, right?
Yes, 36 days.
Wow.
5 more weeks. And it'll all be over. Thank goodness. Can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm at that point where I can't sleep and I bump my belly into everything.
Gotcha.
And it's awful.
Jeez. Wow. Well, we're definitely glad you could join us after that.
I'm sorry. Those women who are like, oh, the miracle of life. It's such a beautiful thing. They're liars or masochists.
Yeah, okay. That works too. Yeah. Masochists are liars. That works too.
Yeah, I'm just trying to survive the flooding. I got some flooding in the basement, so that's a pain in the ass.
That was the first thing I thought about, because I know how close you guys are to right there where the river is. I was wondering if you guys had any.
The river.
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys had any, like, I don't know, the basement or whatever, like near you guys.
Yep, we have a little bit of flooding. Luckily, it's not too bad. It's just a few little puddles here and there that we got to deal with. And then, I mean, it's just a pain in the ass trying to get anywhere in the city, because every other road is flooded because we have so many creeks and shit throughout the town.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
So it's been interesting.
Yeah, it seems like it. I've been following it for like the past week, and it's just it was bad on like Wednesday, and it hadn't even like rained for real yet. So that was the thing. I was like, oh, this might get really bad, like historic bad. Like, oh, man. Yeah.
Yes, and I remember the flood of '97, because I remember being, the flood of '97 is probably 6 years old, my daughter's age now, and looking in the basement and seeing our furniture just float across the steps.
That's ridiculous.
And our neighbor's house was completely flooded. My dad had to put on like his fisherman jumpsuit and help them get everything under control at their house.
Yeah.
Because I didn't live too far from where I live now. So we're almost at that stage again. And it's supposed to be raining, I think, this week as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, we're glad it's not complete gone to shit yet for you. Compared to like some of the other places. That's what I was going to ask. I know it's just like a catch-up thing for Brent too, but I know your aunt Brent lived close to the river. Mm-hmm. Is she okay?
I haven't got the alert. No, she's okay because she's on more on the top of a hill.
That's what I was thinking. It kind of goes up over there. I know.
Like everything would pool at the base of the hill, from her house.
Yeah.
But she's okay. They've been out shopping. Like they ain't even been home. Like they've just been out shopping and going to bingo, stuff like that. So,
okay, that's good. At least
that's how you defeat the flood. You just go to somebody else's neighborhood.
Yeah, go to the dry place.
Yeah,
that's perfect flood advice. Go to the dry place. Keep moving. Step 1, go to the dry place. Step 2, repeat step 1. That's all you got to worry about. But yeah, Shayna, thanks for joining us in the midst of all that.
Happy to be back.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Happy to have you back. Brent, how you doing, brother? How was your game? You guys kick their ass?
Wait.
Did you just get somebody just
Sorry.
sneak up? I was like, somebody sneak up.
There we go.
Came to get him, yeah.
We lost.
I think I got swatted.
Hey, I hope nobody ever does that to me because I probably would die.
Yeah, right.
Like, you can't. I don't think anybody just can kick in my door and me not. Never mind.
Stupid.
Let's not go down that path.
Right.
The game. So I don't know what the hell's going on with this team, but in a nutshell, only 3 of us showed up.
Word.
Damn it. The people who normally tell like what time the game is, apparently maybe the flood got them or whatever. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Like we're just gonna say the weather got a lot of people.
Right.
But so we've been just pulling people out the rafters again, and
I thought it was because of the flood for a second there.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, we still like, wait a minute.
So we still on that?
Right. We're playing on a flooded gym.
Yeah, but today had some good moments. I had an epic fail spiking the ball. That was kind of funny. The perfect setup. Like, how you get up at the high point, you're ready to smack it down, like spike it.
Yeah.
Apparently, like I twist my wrist and popped it back towards me. Like it didn't hit me, but I just like hit it back my way. But it was like the perfect like whoop, hands up, about to hit it, and apparently I wanted to finger roll the ball, and I did some old Uncle Drew, Kyrie Irving English on the ball.
That sounded painful at first.
It did. I thought that was like your wrist had dislocated and
No,
you
yeah,
had
exactly.
the ball to pop it back in place.
If we're being serious, I thought I fucked up my big toe today.
Okay.
Like first game, I was in the my foot got kind of stuck in the sand, and I was trying to run, and I don't know if I hit something in the sand or I just like jammed it or something.
Right.
But my big toe, like after something, like I took off and somehow I ended up falling. I was like, yeah, I think this could be bad news, and it didn't stop hurting until like the 3rd game.
Ooh. I just realized you said sand, so you guys are playing indoor sand volleyball. I thought you were just playing like standard like high school gym volleyball.
Same.
Exactly. Shayna said same. I was thinking the same thing from when you
my joints. They can't do concrete. Can't be doing no high school gym concrete volleyball.
Hardwood. We were talking about hardwood.
Even family reunions on grass.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. Right. I just anytime somebody says they're playing volleyball, unless it's at Marika's here in town, I just think it's automatically gym.
I don't live in town.
Volleyball.
I don't live in your town.
Okay,
sir.
just so you know, Marika's is it's a German bar, a massive German bar, and they have like a huge full indoor sand volleyball court in the bar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is very interesting.
Good food.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Very good food.
Oh, well, sorry.
I miss having like really good German food so bad.
Yeah, that place, the food's excellent, and the beer selection is like never ending. I mean, there's hundreds different
Shayna.
beers they have. It's good though.
How many more weeks did you say?
5.
5 more weeks.
She said it with such like he was climbing up a hill and just stuck your sword in the side of the mountain. And then Brent leaned over the edge and was like, how much farther do you have to go? And just like 5. And then you just kept climbing, like, get out of the way.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's what it seemed like, at least.
Okay. So you'll be able to you're about to go on like a tear of all the food and drinks that may be consumed after. Well, when you wait, does alcohol affect breast milk? I don't know if that's the way y'all going, but I'm just curious.
Yes, it
Pregnancy,
does.
yeah.
But there's this wonderful thing called pump and dump.
Okay. All right. So that's a good enough lesson right there. Now, the rest of my week, I really came on here to say like how much of a I don't know. I think I was for once emotionally hijacked.
Oh.
I've had super highs and some super like what should have been lows.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I finally just kind of like slight imploded. Like I just turned it, like went into the turtle shell.
Right.
And like I don't know. In a nutshell, let's see. Since or before Black Panther, and we're just gonna run this really quick.
Yeah.
I've had a family member. No, I've had an aunt. I've had an aunt go on. Basically, they told them that they might not make it through the night. They was in crit, like real crit, because of some issues they had. I've had an uncle go into the hospital, not come out. They're not sure about that. I've had his, uncle's wife or my aunt get the flu the same week of the husband, and then they were on like bed rest, like they couldn't do anything. I've had multiple family members with the flu.
Right.
I wanted to burn bridges with some people. I've tried to strategize potential plans for people, like help them out with, the ideas, what their next move was, this and that. I've even given relationship advice somehow, and checked on a person to make sure they weren't depressed anymore, to see how they were doing, as I would say, like, well, I don't know. I'm only judging from like the friend test, but like them coming out of potential depression.
Right.
All the while working, doing school. This teacher still ain't posting no damn grade.
For this
It's
semester?
been 2 weeks. Like this is almost week 3, 2 weeks. And we've already turned in our final. Like my new class starts tomorrow. Like,
and this from last semester.
Yeah, this is from last semester.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, but my elation, I have 22 more weeks, and then I will have my master's.
Damn, nice.
Yeah.
How many months
Yeah. Oh, and my nephew broke his arm. He broke his arm. He's in a
It's a roller
cast.
coaster.
Jesus.
I drove up there last week, like middle of the week, to drop my brother up there, see him, sign his cast. Drove back and then taught class for 8 hours the next day.
Yeah.
Like,
Wolf.
all while planning a housewarming.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And people ask me
man.
how's my Valentine was. Like,
How about I punch you in the throat? How about that?
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Why don't you get the hell away from me? That's what you should have just said. Why don't you get the hell away from me? How about that? That was my Valentine's.
I think I I really just kind of imploded, like in my own way, like.
Right.
And I gave up eating out for Lent.
Oh,
So I
nice.
can't even like go stress binge or like, all right, I just want to.
Well, I guess that's a good thing, though.
Well, yeah, but not when you don't make any food because you're just tired.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then like
yeah.
you're fucking like it's a mess up. Like
I
it makes
eat
the next
because
day
I'm
a little
unhappy.
bit tough.
I'm unhappy because I eat.
Yeah. I eat because I'm unhappy. Yeah, absolutely. Right, absolutely.
Shout outs to what the fuck is his name?
Fat bastard.
Fat bastard.
Yeah.
Yep. I kept thinking Fat Albert, and I was like, nope, that's a black guy.
The other white meat. Baby.
Oh man.
But yeah, man. Everything's good. Everything's good. Black Panther was smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be on another podcast later on tonight. I'll be guesting on another podcast.
Nice.
And I'll make sure I shout everybody out.
Word. That's what's up.
How y'all been?
Very nice. Web, what's good?
Okay. I'll keep this as brief as I'll keep it as brief as possible.
That was my fault. I messed up the order.
And it doesn't tie in. Well, that works out because nothing I did ties in with the topics.
Okay,
so
cool.
That works out. Just last night, I caught up on some stand-up specials.
Chris Rock.
Damn it! This does go into the topics. Now I think about it.
Do you want me to do mine first?
Fuck it. Go ahead.
All right. Because, I mean, it's the only way. I always fuck that up because I always try, behind the curtains, I always try to throw it to Webb last because he kind of has the topics. So it usually flows perfectly. So if I did that, I messed that up. It was my fault. And mine, I don't have anything I don't think that ties into it directly. But the week's been same old same. Had some really good stories this week as far as at work. One we did was with this guy who came out. We posted a story from this station in Denver, the reporter that I work with a lot. He posted a story about this guy who wrote this open letter that basically said, like, I was almost a school shooter. And he posted this, like, long letter and, like, talked about, like, how, like, what he went through, how he got to that point, how he had it planned out. And the only thing that really kept him from doing it was pretty much positive relationships with others that kind of came in and intervened, like, right before it got to a point of being, like, really bad. Now, on the other side of that, somebody responded to our story, and it was this student, actually, from Laurel County, and she wrote like this open letter, which I'll get into, but the other guy who got back on this story was a gentleman that went to Clark County, and he came to us and said, yeah, I had the same situation. I was bullied because I was openly gay during high school. He came out during high school and was bullied for it, and he was on the verge of being a school shooter as well. But the only thing that stopped him is, one, the relationships with others, and he couldn't get a hold of a gun. And he said it was to the point where, like, he had it planned out how he was going to go into the school, how he was going to, like, who he was going to target, whole 9 yards. Nicest guy. I mean, great story, and we did the story with him. And then it was interesting to see, like, his perspective as somebody who was almost, like, basically on the doorstep of doing something that extreme, that terrible. But they were diverted by people that they care about, now people that they love, whatever. And it kind of went from there.
Kind of lack of opportunity?
Yeah, in a way, because here's one of the things he told us was his parents didn't have guns in the house or anything like that. But his best friend's parents did. So one time when he went to go sleep over, when he was in the midst of all this, getting bullied and everything, he took one of his friend's dad's pistols, put it in his bag. He was going to take it because his friend's dad was out of town. Only his mom was there. But when he went to pick up his backpack to leave, it wasn't closed. The gun fell out. His friend saw it, so he kind of just played it off. And his friend basically just was like, didn't think anything of it because they were they were like in high school. So he was just like, whatever. He kind of like bullshitted his way out of it. That was the one time where he was like that was the closest he got to actually having a gun. Now that story was excellent. Had a really good time interviewing him. Came together really, really well. But then later on this week, what we did on Friday, there was a girl who's still in high school in Laurel County. She wrote an open letter basically talking about how, like, that now when she goes to school, she walks a little faster in the hallway. She tries to avoid going to the bathroom so that way she's not alone, just in case something happens. She doesn't want to be separated. She worries about a lot of things. She says anytime, like, the intercom goes off, she, like, jumps because she's afraid they're going to, like, announce there's an active shooter, like, hide, whatever. And she kind of went through all that kind of stuff, stacked on just kind of like what she felt, ending with basically, I'm a high school student and I'm afraid. That was kind of what she kind of came to the crux of. And how these school shootings have affected her, not just on the level, she obviously has no relation to any of the school shootings that have happened, but it's something that now it's so prevalent in her and her peers and her friends and stuff that are at school in their minds that it has affected the way she behaves at school. She actually like is more cautious and thinks about those things even more. She talks about how like today at school, instead of learning math, we learned that our backpacks could be used that could potentially stop a bullet if they have the right kind of books in them, like stuff like that. Like talking about stuff like that, like that's the kind of stuff they went over during her normal day at school when she was basically just saying like, I should have just been learning. Like
Copernicus or some shit.
Exactly. And that was the things they basically brought to her, got across. But yeah, that was a really good, interesting one. But those are the two main ones. Two things, I guess, from my week that I could think of. Same otherwise. But yeah, it's been interesting around all this that's been going on, especially with the school shootings and with just everything in general within our country, how it directly affects my day-to-day at work, especially. But yeah, two good stories out of it, and met two really cool people. So that was a good thing. But yeah, that's all I had for my week. Like I said, it didn't tie in too much to any of the times.
Unless something else comes up.
Yeah, exactly.
During the episode.
Absolutely.
All right. I'll be brief.
Cool.
I listened to Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap several times this week.
How's it?
I really like it. That shit puts me in a mood. Like
really?
When I listen to it. Yeah.
I always like Nipsey. Nipsey's good.
Yeah. I knew of him, and I just kind of been sleeping on just listening to his work.
Yeah,
and going from there.
Yeah, definitely.
And then like we actually talked about this on a podcast or episode long ago, where he was selling that CD for $100.
Oh yeah,
and
I forgot
he sold
about
out,
that.
And it was like just that business acumen he has, that mind he has for business as well as like street shit.
Yeah.
And you can't help but to respect that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And as far as listening to him, he's not lyrically complex.
Not really. Yeah.
But it's more of what he's saying rather than how he's saying it that's important.
Yeah, right.
And so that's what I got from a lot of those tracks on there.
Yeah.
And that intro, the title track, Victory Lap. Oh my God! Like all the way, all throughout. It's somebody made a great comparison. Somebody said he's got like a Rick Ross type ear for production.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good ear to have.
That's a fact.
That's a damn good ear to have when it comes to production. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Especially with that lack of like lyrical miracle type shit, or just even like not being too crazy about wordplay or anything like that. It's just like, hey, this is what I got to say. I was gonna sit there.
Rhyme it.
I was gonna do an accent. No, I was gonna do an accent.
No, you're gonna do that.
I was gonna do a Cali. I was gonna do a Cali accent.
West Coast accent.
I was gonna do a Cali accent, but then I almost said "cuz," and I don't want to cause any fucking problems. We're going with that.
Alone, man. It's a day of peace, man. Let it be.
Nah, so I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that as it is.
That's funny. I got a red pop filter over here. We can't be saying stuff like that.
Leave that to Ryan Coogler and Killmonger.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So that was dope. I'm gonna listen to that again. And to the last bit I wanted to talk about was I finally got to watch 2 comedy specials last night. One was Tom Segura.
Oh God, it's so good.
I can't remember the name of it now.
I can't either.
Damn it! I just had it in my mind, but
yeah, that one's good. I love that one.
It's pretty good. Like it's still pretty much at level with the last special I seen him on.
Yeah, he's got a
was
very
talking about
distinct...
how freaky, like trying to get his wife to get real freaky.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want you to treat my ball bag like you are on a what was it, a boat?
Yeah, you're on a boat, and this is the last raft to get you off. Yeah,
it's like you're on a boat. Yeah. So it's pretty much a continuation of that with that's gay joke that you mentioned last time.
Yeah.
There's always something memorable from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
From Tom Segura. So you can at least pick something. Oh, yeah, that special where he said that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that special where he said that. Immediately after that, I ended up watching Chris Rock's Tambourine.
Okay. Nice.
And I enjoyed that, too.
Very nice.
Especially with the kind of... it's very interesting, especially to see like how comedians go through certain experiences and share that
with others,
and are able to twist it in a way to make people laugh rather than go like, oh, that's fucked up, or oh, he fucked up.
Yeah.
In that kind of sense. Him talking about his divorce and
Yo.
like the jokes, like he said like the key to happiness in a relationship is fucking and traveling.
Coming and going.
Coming and going, yeah. And
Coming and going.
it's just so much. I just love it when comedians are able to speak the truth and sit there and just kind of not
and
put it out
spin it in
there
a way where it's not like
where it's not depressing
Yeah,
to hear it,
exactly,
or not like no, or where you kind of look down on them or anything like that. They are able to
Yeah.
just flip it. Yes.
I know Brent said he watched it too.
Yeah. I thought like Chris Rock does, like he has like his brand of comedy is I guess his style. His personality really sells his comedy. I mean, I guess that's like most comedians. But I was thinking to the part where you had he was giving like the 3 tips to a healthy relationship or keeping a relationship going. And then him telling about his his marriage, giving you a inside look.
Right.
And what I thought was actually pretty interesting, the way he said he finally realized he made it. His validation for that he finally made it.
Yeah. The
That one
courthouse,
was that was a spin I wasn't even expecting. I was expecting like this negative, drawn out like thing where I was gonna get a punchline later, but he flipped that. His breakdown of like what people heard when he was talking about if he said he cheated 3 times, he had 3 women, something like that.
Yeah.
And he was talking like the women in here they're listening to, oh man, thought you was one of the good ones, or something like that. But then he was like, all the guys in there were like,
Only
3?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, right.
I work at UPS. I got 3. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff like was like funny. You know what I'm saying? But he also says some things that are like kind of feel so true that it's like you laugh at the pain of the joke.
Right, exactly. Because they can flip it in a way that works, which it's only a few people that can really do that well.
Yeah.
That's the best comedians, or as they're considered legends.
Yeah.
With that said, I figure we can just go ahead and get into the topics in this instance.
That works.
With another comedian or a comedic legend, excuse me. There's more talks and more drama involving Monique.
Talk that shit, Mo.
Momo.
Okay. So there's 2 bits. 2 instances that happened this week. One, IRS is hitting her up for $500,000. It's an interesting number.
That's strange.
It's a very interesting number that's thrown in there.
Yeah.
And also
familiar.
Monique went on to the Breakfast Club to address being called Donkey of the Day at whatever date it was when she was called Donkey of the Day.
Yeah.
So I have my thoughts about it. My timeline was divided on their thoughts about it. I wanted to ask OafDiscussions, what were your thoughts on it?
What you got, Brent?
So I barely could make it through the interview because Charlemagne kept annoying the hell out of me.
I mean, he's good at that.
So there were some very good points made. And I could say there was some points that were made on both sides. But I think she handled herself very well by not trying to be like attacking while being in defense mode, right? When they were asking like, she was killing me when she was killing them when she was like, yo, you didn't do your research, like you didn't do your homework. And I feel like you got to hold people accountable. Like if you're going to go off and, say what you're going to say, you probably need to do your research, stuff like that. Like I didn't think it was smart, like for Charlemagne, and he was telling just his reasons why, you know what I'm saying? Like I get where he was coming from when he was like, I think this is a business move, but it's just you. But she would say something and then he would be like, yeah, I believe other people in the industry are, getting the same treatment. But then it was like, but which one are you saying? Is it you believe a lot of people are getting the treatment, or this is just Monique's like personal
Personal
thing.
Yeah.
Like personal, I'm trying to think of a flood reference, but I can't. Just her, plank to bear.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let everybody else go, and I'm gonna come back. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Because I really didn't tell my thoughts. Like I thought Monique, handled it well.
Sound like you need to do your research.
Oh, okay, let's do it then.
No,
he's stupid.
I'm fucking with you.
Okay, so I could do this. Like Monique, I like how she was attacking, like how vague everybody else was. She was like, "Hey, tell me the facts. Give me some facts. This and that." I said it when I was doing a liquid drop that her whole angle at this was not like not necessarily just the money, but kind of like the principles behind it. And if you're gonna look at it from like, hey, there is a discrepancy in wage, in gender, you know what I'm saying? Like there is a discrepancy in pay, like that. I was like, okay, well, what status do you put Monique on? Like, what is your criteria for how much a person gets paid?
Right.
Is it, what have you done for me lately?
Right.
Is it just comedy? Like, are you looking at a comedian like, okay, how many tickets did you sell in 2000, like in the last 2 years? How many tickets did you sell?
Right.
Was there certain judges that, like you have Rotten Tomato, like you can go in there and get a Rotten Tomato rating, and people look at that as like vindication for some people. Like, is there something for comedians? It's like, okay, this show was, a 91 or a 5. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
What are we doing? And I took all the points with a grain of salt because technically I wasn't in the room to hear their negotiations. They kind of backtracked on a few things with the whole like, we made a counter offer, stuff like that. So both sides sounded kind of, basically the husband sounded kind of shady to me. Like he sounded like he was kind of making some shit up and then telling some truths at other times. So he was credibility for me.
Gotcha.
But if we go in as the idea of inequality and you're saying, okay, no black woman has ever made over a meal. Why?
Right.
Because that poses a problem to me. Because we could say women have made over a meal, okay, but no black made over a meal, and you have people in the top 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are you doing a person's whole body of work? Because I don't think a person's whole body of work. Monique's she's gotta get paid something.
Right.
Whether you like her and everything she did or not, like she does have some stats to her. Like she's been in some movies, she's done some specials, she has done some tours. Like she was or is a name to people still. Like I would say she made a movement, and in a sense, like she's known for a movement, in a comedian pioneer of a movement. So for me, I always thought she should get paid more. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't say how much a person's worth because that's not my business. Like I can't put a number to that. But overall, I think she was actually hit the nail on the head saying that if you don't do your research and you're speaking on something, like you have to be smart about it because people are listening to your platform and you're discrediting people without all the full information. And I think that's what most of her argument on that topic on the show was, like on that interview was, I'm meeting you face to face and let's chop it up. Let's have a talk. Now she was talking like, she's saying things and facing bullies, this and that. I said it in my liquid drop. I would like to hear more people come out. So that way I know it's not just her. Then you have the Viola Davis interview coming out, like stuff like that. Like people need to get paid. Right. Equal parts. You put in the work, you should get paid. Like it's just like that. What's somebody else's thoughts?
I was gonna say, I was just gonna see if what Shayna thought about the whole thing. If she had seen what happened, kind of how it went down, and what if she thinks that she was justified. I guess that Monique was justified in her kind of like opinion.
I think that she's making extremely valid points. I think her initial way of delivering the message got lost in translation. Of course, asking for a boycott of Netflix and everything was extreme.
Right.
But it because she started out with that, everything else she said has been discredited.
Right,
because people focus on one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But her message and the points she's making, I think, are extremely valid, and it is a huge issue. And she does deserve more, I think.
Yeah.
But I think because of the whole starting with the Netflix boycott, and unfortunately having a little bit of a shifty husband that is her manager, their business practices may not be the greatest because of that.
Yeah.
So I think those two things really factored into how people are receiving her message and how they're handling her. And also, again, people don't take Black women seriously, especially a Black woman that looks and sounds like her, unfortunately.
Right.
So they put a lot of jokes on her for that reason, too.
Yeah. And like Shayna said, I think a lot of people, of course, initially that's what they latched onto when it came out was the whole Netflix thing. Everybody's like, everybody boycott Netflix for fucking Monique. Like, that was the main thing I heard. That was how I heard about this story, because of that point. But what were you going to get into, William?
I hate to, well, I'm sorry. Did that clap in your ear?
No, I pulled my headphones.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right, then. No, I'm going to have to be the contrarian in this.
That's fine.
Okay, go for it.
As far as that particular interview that took place well, actually, let me back up.
Yep.
As far as what was being called Donkey of the Day, it was specifically that, her asking people to boycott Netflix. And I felt that came across more of her trying to make a stand for her own cause, but trying to conflate it with other causes. Meaning, oh, I'm not getting money. I'm not getting paid the way I feel that I should be. I don't feel like you're not treating me with what I conceive as my worth.
Right.
Then, oh, this is clearly a race issue. This is a gender issue. This is a Black woman issue. As far as bring us together, like, I love us for real. Expect that shit right there. That comment that she made when she was asking people to boycott Netflix, it came across more like she was trying to conflate more. She was conflating more issues than what was apparent.
Right.
And it was pretty much in the fact that Monique just wasn't as hot as she anticipated as far as when it came time to negotiating a Netflix deal.
Yeah.
And as far as for her to to keep using Chappelle, Chris Rock, and Amy Schumer as examples, as in given the fact that their stock is admittedly much higher than Monique's.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it kind of comes back to the thing I just mentioned earlier, where we were sitting there talking about with Tom Segura, just random white comedian. I can at least name a funny joke that I got from the last special, as I just said it. And I can probably think of another if I put thought into, oh, God, the learning Spanish bit.
Oh, yeah. That was,
oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, see, there we go.
Yeah.
This recent stand-up, I can remember a joke that happened from there.
Yeah.
I can memorize it, and I can sit there and repeat it, and other people will get that reference.
Yeah.
I can sit there and talk about something from the Chappelle skit or Chappelle show stand-up specials. Damn near something from all three of them.
Right.
That took place last year. Chris Rock's Tambourine. I just mentioned fucking and traveling.
Yep. Coming and going.
Coming and going. Yeah. See. So with that being said, do you remember the last funny joke you've heard from Monique?
It was in Queens of Comedy. I know that.
Anybody from OafDiscussions remember the last funny the last funniest thing you heard from Monique other than "Hey, Mr. Ogilvy"?
That was the last stand-up thing I remember of hers.
I can't quote anything, but I watched
anything.
her prison special.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That came out in like 2006, wasn't it? That was on Netflix,
I honestly
wasn't
have no
it?
idea.
Was it on?
Yeah, it is.
I think
That
so.
was on,
that's what I
that
thought.
06 Netflix special.
Nice.
That kind of went along with that episode that I did on my own, where I mentioned that's Netflix special, and the fact that it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
She has something that's already there.
That is true.
So as far as for them to
forgot
try to
about
continue, like for them to continue working with her in this instance, and then to kind of as she felt being lowballed.
Yeah.
Then I mean, apparently,
Yeah.
there's something you gotta. Well, if you feel disrespected and feel lowballed, then you probably gotta take your ball and go somewhere else with it.
Right.
Now, as far
I
as
think.
Mute your mic.
I think. I think I think she probably does. In my opinion, I think she probably deserves at least a little bit more than that. But at the same time, I do understand the fact that her stock isn't as much, of course, as the people she was like bringing up as well.
Right.
Even as much as we've talked about it before, the fact that we don't like somebody like Amy Schumer that much. We don't enjoy her brand of comedy generally.
And I love how she brought up her most recent movie, which was Snatched, that came out last year. She's just like, Snatched had a $42 million budget and only made $45 million. And I just checked it; it actually made $60 million. But and then
overall
she
lifetime,
yeah. And then she mentioned with Almost Christmas, it's like having a $17 million budget and making $42 million at the box office. Now, granted, she was saying like, so you telling me that Amy Schumer got her comedy special because her stock was where it was, and then Snatched came out way after that comedy special on Netflix, which we all agree has been considered trash.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now the movie she had when she was hot, when Amy Schumer, anyway,
yeah,
when she was popping,
yeah,
when she was popping.
Right.
Let me get back to it. Was Trainwreck, which came out, what was it, 2015?
Okay.
And the budget, $35 million budget. Box office was $140 million. So that makes more sense as an example to use as far as the point in time of when Amy Schumer was popping,
right
before that Netflix special,
right.
So of course they're going to sit there and give her the amount of money that she was, because she was a big name with her first 10 minutes of her 15 minutes of fame,
right? Yeah.
So I felt that her using that example of a movie that took place after the comedy special and a movie that took place last year on her decline came across kind of shady as an example to use. I felt that as far as I still felt that she was attacking the Breakfast Club with what she was going about. So well, I don't understand why y'all calling me or telling me it's Donkey of the Day. Charlamagne kept stating what it was that he gave her Donkey of the Day for, as far as asking the boy for Netflix, as I mentioned earlier, conflating her not getting paid with black women being misrepresented or mistreated and this, that, and the other, which is in fact a thing that does happen.
Yeah.
Point blank period. Any type of field.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to conflate those together,
right?
As far as trying to go, I love us for real, that type of shit, and then for her to keep being condescending and trying to say it in a polite manner, but she was still like she was on attack mode, and like you can tell as far as like ad hominems and other persuasion techniques to sit there, like if you pay attention to that shit, she had her mind set. And when she asked, like, bring up the names, and they brought up names, then she tried to switch it around as like and go on to something else. And as I noticed, each time she kept switching the subject or kept sitting there bringing something. Oh, well, what about this? And then she kept mentioning, oh, y'all want to keep pushing the line? Nigga, we see you pushing the line.
We're trying to keep
you're pushing the goalposts on the different things. And then when they started pressing further, she was like, she was ready to leave.
Right.
And then she sit there trying to throw some dumbass little line about Nat Turner, sitting there talking about you're sitting there sending your wife to Massa. Nigga, what?
Yeah. Right.
And I get she was trying to sit there and say some stuff like, you're selling out black women for your gain. And it's like, no, it's you. They've been straight up talking about you.
Right. Exactly.
Point blank period.
Yeah.
They're not they're not talking about any other black women. We're not mentioning as far as Tiffany Haddish doing her damn thing for these past couple of years.
Right.
Her name being where it is. And I would be more likely to sit there and go see a Netflix special with Tiffany Haddish.
Absolutely.
Or Wanda Sykes, who took her ball and ran when Netflix wasn't offering her enough.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, like other people that I would consider way funnier.
Or Issa Rae. Or
Issa Rae. Yes.
Issa Rae,
yeah. So,
absolutely.
Like, there's plenty of black women that are funnier or that are more popping.
Yeah.
Within the past recently.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Than Monique.
Yeah.
And for her to sit there and just kind of throw that in there and try to sit there and make it a bigger deal than what it is that she's doing. Now, granted, that's a lot of publicity. There's a lot of talk going around her. She's circulating. So clearly this is a PR move. This is what she's doing to get her name in there.
She definitely got her. I mean, she got more people talking about her.
Yeah. Just
based on the fact of it going at it this way. And that of course is beneficial to her.
Yeah. So
but at the same time, yeah, like I said. What was you gonna say, Brett?
Okay. So who should have this conversation? Who has the authority to have this conversation? If she's not popping enough, who?
What do you mean?
What do you mean who?
Oh,
Like,
you
when
mean like who
Yeah.
would you put in the same exact situation?
Yeah, if somebody runs the same exact scenario, who would then garner enough juice to be like, okay, now this is a thing? Would like 100 people need to come out, or is it one person like Tiffany Haddish?
Oh, you're doing
You're
doing the numbers thing. He's saying like how many different black women comedians would have to come forward and say this was a thing.
No. That's two separate questions. Like
Okay.
one would be like, if we take her out the scenario, right?
Okay.
Who would and they say the same thing. We take her out because she doesn't have enough star power. Is kind of, in a sense, part of what you said.
Who got enough juice to make this complaint?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is what you're asking.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say like if hell they can say boycott Netflix too, but who has enough juice for somebody to then listen? Because that's what this to me when I hear a lot of it basically comes down to she doesn't have enough juice to make this complaint. Now it is a very fucking gray topic because I can see what you mean when you're like I think this is her problem. That's basically what Charlamagne was saying. Like this is a Monique problem, not a black women of diaspora problem.
Right.
But everybody then says within a few moments later, yes, this happens in all fields across the diaspora, across all workforce. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, do we now separate one from the other?
Yes.
Or is it like
absolutely.
What's being
why
said?
So?
Here's why I say this. Because
okay.
Here's the reason I say this is because there are issues with as far as representation for black women. Point blank, period. We know this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as far as what she is specifically saying is happening to her, the way she's bringing this up as herself is what happened with us. She felt disrespected. And then she wanted to sit there and throw it out there as like, hey, I love us for real. We need to boycott Netflix as a group. And as far as like, well, hold on, why are you in other people's pockets worrying about as far as this, that, and the other? Not one. Did she, like in that interview, did she mention anything about Tiffany Haddish, or did that name get brought up?
I don't think
Did she mention anything about Issa Rae? Did she mention anything about Wanda Sykes?
Did
she mention anything? Like she mentioned some more. And
she did mention
like
Wanda.
the queens. She mentioned the queens of comedy type.
She mentioned Wanda. She mentioned Wanda because she made the point that Wanda only took like 250. Like that's how much they was trying to pay her. Like she mentioned that.
Yeah, and we mentioned how she took her ball and ran
and
did something better from that.
Yeah.
So as far as in the same sense, like as far as shopping around this, that, and, like she could just as easily shop around from there. And I don't know if this was like the last stop and it just wasn't hitting the way she thought it was. And then she decided to, all right, you know what? Let me kick some dirt up. And that's what it comes across to me. Mm-hmm. Now, as far as what you are saying is like, as far as black women being, or as far as what you said, well, if this isn't such an issue with black women, why are we upset with her? And it's like, she's conflating two separate things. Like she didn't get her deal that she wanted, and now she's wanting to conflate this as a bigger deal than what it is, which kind of coincides with another topic that I want to get into once we finish this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does coincide with that.
Let me ask one follow-up question because I get what you're saying. It don't matter what my thought is on that. Like I get what you're saying. Who has enough juice? If this was said by somebody else, let's take her out the picture. Who has enough juice that somebody will listen to? An up and coming person, or like who?
I would straight up point blank period. I'm going to listen to Issa Rae or Tiffany Haddish or Wanda Sykes if they're going to sit there and speak up on some shit like this.
Okay.
I'm not like, those are the main people that I keep bringing up because those have been the most relevant black women comedians at this point in time. I may be overlooking someone point blank, and like that's a failure. That's a failure on my part.
Trying to think of any other comedians.
But as far as point blank period, those are the biggest names, or those are the biggest names as far as black women in comedy writing that have come
over. Some more? Didn't she have like 4 degrees or some shit like that, like a PhD? That's here no day.
What does that have to do?
What does that have to do?
That doesn't have to do with comedy. I was like, that doesn't have to do with. It doesn't have to do with comedy.
No, yeah.
I was like, no, yes. I mean,
and that kind of goes along with like also Monique is like, I'm an Oscar winner. That wasn't for a comedy special. That wasn't for a stand up.
Yeah. No,
so
what does Tiffany Haddish made her? What did she what comedy made her big?
Like, she blew up off of Girls Trip. She's been on the Jared Carmichael show. She has been like doing this, that, and the other. This, that. She recently got a big deal with Groupon. She's kind of done other things, like kind of like a little bit of a publicity tour, et cetera, et cetera. She may be getting on her, or like, I don't know how her 15 minutes of fame is laid out, but at this point in time, but
I am wondering about that.
So I mean, if you, that's as much as I know and remember off the top of my head regarding Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah, that's all I know.
But not comedy, like not stand-up comedy though.
She does do comedy or stand-up comedy. As a matter of fact, she was on Comedy Off Broadway a couple months back.
Yeah, she was.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Newsman, of course. Yeah.
But
so yeah, she does do stand up. That much I remember.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because I didn't think she did stand up. Like I was really asking that as like a real question, because I was like, but we're still comparing people who haven't done stand up who are popular, and that's the whole point of the conversation.
So yeah,
they are more in the limelight than Monique.
Right.
And you answered my question there, because that's what I've been hearing was basically like she don't have enough juice for this conversation to hold weight.
And I wouldn't even, it ain't even like the fact that it's like, you don't have a voice to voice your opinion about women's rights or nothing like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying that at point blank period. Hopefully the people that are making those comments online aren't making that argument. And it's just the point of where I'm coming from with this is that, okay, we get the problem with black women as far as they're being underpaid, underrepresented, or misrepresented, and all that good stuff.
And like what Shayna said, as far as like people looking down or not taking serious women, black women, especially women of color, especially that look and sound like her. Yeah. That has to be taken into account too. But I think like you said, what you're getting to
is, I feel like that's the same thing that's being done right now. Like
here's the thing about that this is where I think everyone has to be careful about it, because you don't want to take now, of course, you have to take that and you have to think about that. Make sure that's not happening and try to understand it from the way of making sure you get all the pieces and understand, hopefully, that that's not what's happening. But at the same time, you have to be mindful as well of the person that is delivering the message, because you don't want them to take advantage of the fact that they know what kind of attention and what kind of general emotion that discussion gets, and use that as a way to basically inflate the situation and basically conflate things together in a way that is disingenuous. That's the main thing I think everybody needs to be mindful of. It's like, yes, we have to, especially as black men and women, we have to be smart enough to understand that these things do happen, but we also have to be mindful enough and ask the questions and really understand the situation, so that way, hopefully this doesn't happen, but that way no one of color or not of color can take advantage of the situation and the understanding that they know the reactions that those kind of discussions get, and just try to use it to their advantage in a very disingenuous way. Those are the things that we have to.
That's marketing and PR. That's business. That ain't no big deal to me. But I get what you're saying. I apologize for cutting you off. But my fault. My fault.
You're fine. No, but that's basically. I mean, that's
so. Yeah. Could we all agree this could have been handled better?
Yeah. I think so.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
This usually could be handled better.
That's usually the whole thing.
With that said, as far as things being handled better, 2 Aramark employees have been fired by the food service after preparing a meal at NYU during Black History Month that was deemed racially insensitive. And this is off of Daily Wire. Reports suggest that the employees are African American, though Aramark has not confirmed details about the ethnicity of the fired employees.
Okay.
According to CBS News, the 2 employees were fired as a result of a complaint by a sophomore who says she confronted the head cook about the racially insensitive meal, but was lied to and ultimately ignored. The meal, the student claimed in a Facebook post, consisted of barbecue ribs, collard greens, watermelon-flavored water, Kool-Aid, and mac and cheese. Sophomore Nia Harris, who was black, said the head cook dismissed her objections and told her black employees plan the menu. Reports CBS News. She posted about the menu and her experience on Facebook, saying she was lied to, placated, and ignored. This is what it's like to be a black student at NYU, Nia wrote in her Facebook post. You go to a dining hall during February and you see Black History Month meal plastered outside the entrance. You walk inside the dining hall only to find ribs, collard greens, and mac and cheese. In 2018, I literally had to explain why displaying watermelon and Kool-Aid in celebration of Black History Month was not only racially insensitive, but just ignorant. Both Nia and the New York Times noted that the head cook told her black people planned the menu. The head cook also told Ms. Harris that the employees who planned the menu were black, reports the Times. I talked to the head cook who is this just repeating? In response to the public condemnation of the meal, Aramark issued a statement apologizing and announcing that they had fired the employees responsible for independently making the decision to put together the menu. Here's the full statement. We have zero tolerance for any employee. The incident also prompted a public apology from NYU President Andrew Hamilton, who said the menu was inexcusably insensitive. There's more about the full statement from both representatives. So, with that said, your thoughts about the firing, the meal, the feedback about the meal, etc.
Fuck that meal.
All right.
I said, fuck that meal.
No. Go ahead. No, please go ahead. My first thing, and I know this obviously most of the time this is our first question on a lot of these topics. What color are the cooks? Do we know?
It was not identified, but it was implied that the employees were originally black.
Okay.
It has been stated by the head cook that the employees who had planned the meal were black.
Okay. Brent,
Well,
does
what
that
was
change?
the head cook?
Was not specified.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they were all black, Brent, does that change your mind?
No, fuck that meal still.
Okay.
Like, that's
the
that
only
bullshit. Like, come on.
The only thing that bothers me, can you please read the ingredients again? I apologize for stepping out. I had to open the door.
Oh, I can read it off the top of my head. Shit.
Okay.
Barbecue ribs, collard greens, mac and cheese.
Okay.
Watermelon flavored water.
Okay.
Kool-Aid.
Fuck that shit.
Only problem in that situation is the watermelon.
The watermelon water?
That's the only thing that to me, that's the only part of this that makes this any fuel. Like, if you take out that, I don't see how anybody could have got mad. I feel like that's the point. I feel like people were reading this and going through that and be like, yeah, this is grandma's house. Grandma's house. That's Sunday morning. Yeah, we used to eat like this, whatever. Watermelon, that seems kind of racist. There it is. Like, what the fuck difference does it make? This is the shit we cook in our house from our grandparents. The only reason it becomes racist is because of the fucking watermelon.
They should have made neck bones.
Then they would have tried to
been 10 times more pissed off.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah,
the more
really
obscure people get, like, if you would have been like, we made hog moss, neck bones, fucking pig's feet. People would have like, whoa.
You got some catfish with you?
Right, yeah.
You got some catfish on the side?
Want me shine your shoes? Want me smile at you?
Chicken noodle soup. Right. Chicken noodle soup.
Right, yeah. But I think that is the only way this became, I believe.
It's the Kool-Aid.
The
Kool-Aid and water. Put it over the top.
I don't even think the Kool-Aid's really that big of a deal. I think that watermelon thing
Here's my question.
One, it said watermelon water. That seems
watermelon
gross.
Flavored water.
That seems gross.
Okay.
Was
so
it
the Kool-Aid and watermelon
like
water is two huge red flags for me. Because one, would you normally make Kool-Aid any other time?
Okay, I can.
Who?
He's talking about the school.
For this university, like, would this dining hall ever have Kool-Aid any other time in the year? Like, if you have Kool-Aid during Halloween, I'd be like, okay, all right, I'll let it slide. You got some festive drink,
orange
Kool-Aid,
orange Kool-Aid.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
But you had flavored watermelon, some Sambo shit, and you had Kool-Aid. Like, no, I'm not fucking flying with that. Like, that's bullshit. Like, get out of here. That's of all the foods that you could eat around the world.
Yeah.
Ribs, collard greens, mac and cheese, flavored watermelon, water, and Kool-Aid. Bullshit.
I mean, if
there's a million dishes you could have made. You could have picked one dish a day and made a different dish a week, or one dish a week, like, and just chose a different place.
Let me ask you this.
I will take Brent's side on this, file it under this pure thing of being punished under non-creativity.
Let me ask you this:
I could do that if we want to do that.
If instead of a Black History Month meal, if they had mentioned this as Soul Food Day, would you still be pissed off about this?
Yeah, that's not enough soul food.
So
Again,
we're going back to that neck bump?
We're filing it under lack of creativity.
No, this is bullshit.
Like you said, if they would have done something where it's like each day of the week we do something from different, either like sections of the country that were like things that were actually created by Black chefs, like special like dishes that were specifically like created. Not even it doesn't even have to be soul food. It could be like dishes that do you mean that level of creativity? Is it just too simple? Just being like fuck it.
A non-Black person can make a soul-filled a meal. Like that's not the thing. Because when I think of a soul-filled meal, it's not necessarily the food, like what the menu is. It's the plethora of the food and the family time or the camaraderie of everybody coming in and breaking bread together. I think that's what makes it a soulful, like it's a soulful occasion, like interaction with, and the meal to go with it. But if I think of a soulful meal,
are you saying soul filled or soul food?
Soul food.
Sorry, soul food meal or soul food. I think I said soul filled.
Soul for real meal.
Yeah, soul for real meal. Like when I
past them collar. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When I think of that, ribs don't pop in my head. I mean, if it does, then it'll be like ribs, meatloaf, hamburgers, hot dogs, mac and cheese, green beans.
That's a barbecue you talking about.
Like a spread, like almost like a fucking Thanksgiving spread. Like, huh?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He said barbecue food,
barbecue or Thanksgiving meal, like something out of the ordinary. Like you put time and effort into that. So that wouldn't have changed it for me. I'd have been like, this ain't no fucking soul food meal. And you still got flavored watermelon, water, and
that's the weirdest thing.
And Kool-Aid. Like, you can miss me with that shit. Like, you can miss me with all that shit. Now, if they would have said, but why was it only one meal? Like, why was it only one Black History meal? You couldn't get one for every day? No? Not one for every week? Have a different theme?
It's ribs on this day.
Different. We go with different parts of the country or the world. The chefs, they got time. They could make this happen.
Yeah.
No, right now I could go to work and I could get one side meatloaf, another side.
How is meatloaf Black? I'm sorry. You keep mentioning that, and that bothers me.
Why? Is meatloaf white?
I
think of spaghetti when I think of white.
That's Great Depression meal. That's the Great Depression meal that white people came up with.
I love that. That's so funny.
Was it?
Yeah.
It actually was.
Yeah,
they
definitely.
Yeah, it was. It
made a lot of meatloaf.
Yeah, it was like they literally made a loaf
not-
of bread because it's the Great Depression. It's like this is all we got. It's like, so help yourself. This is everything that we need. And
those words,
this
is all we got. Sounds Black to me. Sounds good. Sounds like a meal. All right.
It's so funny. I still say we're filing it under the persecution files under laziness, and the watermelon is the problem.
Watermelon.
This is nowhere near as big of a deal to where it caused two supposedly Black employees to lose their job.
I don't think they should have been
They
fired.
should have got fired too. Yeah.
No,
they knew better.
Come
on, man.
That's you are making a mountain out of a molehill out of this. I'm sorry.
You're making a mountain out of watermelon.
I'm allergic to watermelon, so this shit don't even go fly.
There it is.
Anyway,
okay, that's the problem.
Quit making a mountain out of cotton fields.
They were trying to kill Brent. Brent was like, "You ain't gonna give me that watermelon." And have me choking. Have me pass out.
Are you trying to give the student body diabetes? Right. Is that what you're trying to do?
He said, "Why'd you say it like that?"
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley, and I suffer from diabetes. I love that fucking line. I love that line. Oh, I view this as being made a bigger deal than what it really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Point blank. Because this is some shit that
it's funny, though.
This is some shit you're still gonna be eating. As far as it being listed as far as the idea that they came up with, if it is in fact two Black employees that came up with the idea, they wanted to sit there. Hey, soul food. This is Black History Month. This is what we've grown up around. This is what. And this is kind of again. I don't know. Nigga, I'm not in that kitchen.
That's the best they had.
If that is, if that's all the student body can afford.
Brent, it's New York cats, man. That's that north side shit. They ain't got this southern good food down here.
Man, Fuck that.
Oh, that's a
that.
great point that you mentioned. This is up north.
It's New York. Like, they don't have as much variety as we do when it comes to this. Like this. That's why I like the idea Brent put up of like dividing like into different sectors of the country.
What they definitely like soul,
because you
like
get a lot
soul
of different
food,
stuff.
Maybe like Creole, Cajun type shit.
Oh yeah,
another
you
day.
Went nuts.
Maybe hell, you're in New York. There's a lot of motherfuckers, Jamaican queens,
Exactly.
you can have a Jamaican dish. Well, that's kind of iffy there as far as
since it's done Black History Month and you pick the most watermelon and Kool-Aid and ribs.
I'm trying to get Brent to say lazy.
I'm trying. Huh? You trying to get me to say
I'm
what?
trying to get you to say lazy because I'm the one following their laziness.
But when this came, I was like, would it have been better if they changed ribs to chicken? And I was like,
who don't like chicken?
Okay, chicken. That's why I was like, chicken is universal. Chicken.
Hell,
chicken is awful.
Chicken is
before the baby taste buds.
Chicken is so awesome that we sit there and have to look at gay people differently as far as what they view it.
Oh yeah, no,
it's like I don't. It's like what it was that Jared Carmichael. He said just said.
Oh yeah, the Jared Carmichael thing.
What he said there
so
said.
Stupid.
It's like there are two different people. There are gay people and there are people that really like chicken. Please don't make me decide.
Yeah, I remember that stand-up special. It was so dumb.
What?
Yeah, it was a stand-up.
I gotta see this. I gotta see this. I did not get the joke, and I was like,
when you get a chance, look it up.
Well, check it. Yeah, check that out. I think it's on Laugh Factory, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Taste buds. Is this before the baby taste buds or after the baby taste buds?
I just started really fucking with chicken within the last 2 years, and it's like the very last meat that I want to eat. I am not a chicken person, never have been. It's flavorless. Like, even when you do flavor it, still chicken, I don't like the texture. You dry it out, it's really easy to mess up chicken. It's hard to have really good chicken.
Yeah, I mean, hey, some people just don't like chicken.
Well, I understand that.
It's true. If you fuck it up bad. It's like one of those. If you fuck it up, you fuck it up bad.
Yeah. Or as opposed to beef, it's like, oh well, fuck it, we're having hamburgers then. It's like
then you just, if it's beef, you just change the gradation. Is it well done or is it medium? Or is it if you burn chicken, it's burnt chicken. It's not well done chicken.
Yeah, you mess up some beef. It's like, I'll just pour some gravy on it.
Yeah, slattered in gravy. It's fine.
Throw a biscuit on there.
Yeah.
We in there.
Yes. Oh, yes. All right. So
yeah. I'm not giving a pass. And
I'm giving a pass. Pass the plate. Pass the plate.
I would have been happy to have some food like that. Like I said, the only issue I see is with the watermelon drink, because who the fuck drinks watermelon?
And I feel
and
like
the Kool-Aid.
I'm going to the Mexican store where they have the fresh squeeze juice.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like what they did, they probably had one of those fruit infuser jugs.
Exactly.
And just put watermelon in the middle of it. And I'm like, why? Just serve. Was that their way of avoiding just straight up serving watermelon? Is that what it was?
I think that's what it was.
But then you would have been ready to flip the table over. If it would have just.
I mean, the menu sucks.
I'd rather a fruit basket.
Suck. All right, the menu suck. And
don't act like you're not rubbing your hands together
about some damn ribs.
To go get some ribs and greens and
like baby.
Yeah,
like baby from Young Money. That's so
I'm trying to
good.
think of when's the last cookout that had ribs, greens, and macaroni cheese. I can't think of any.
Your family's fucked up.
That's what I was about to say. It's like, man, you need a different cookout to go to.
That's weird.
You need another cookout to go to.
Dude, that's weird, man.
What kind of cookout?
If we put it on the poll, that would be strange.
Put what on the poll?
Just add fucking hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
And that's the most basic cookout you got going on right there. So I mean, or replace collard greens with green beans if you really want it, or potatoes, or throw in or potato salad.
Yeah.
Be careful who the hell's cooking it, but be careful who's fixing it.
Yeah, be careful on the potato salad.
Be very mindful of who's fixing that potato salad.
You gotta be careful who's cooking it. Mac and cheese, you gotta be careful who's cooking it. Come on, those are all legit. You gotta everybody don't make that shit good.
That's true. That's true.
And here you are firing the people that could make it good.
Right. Over some damn watermelon juice.
They knew better. They knew better. If you in cahoots, fuck that shit. You gotta go too.
Oh, whatever, dude.
You're stupid.
This is another like somebody. Hold on.
I love to see.
Let me find the comment.
I love this topic so much.
I love the comment that somebody made.
hilarious.
Fuck. Let me look around for it now because
I mean, I get, the head cook was like, y'all better get on in there and make that shit.
what's
Like,
wrong
I
with
get it.
eating?
I
What's
get-
wrong with eating that shit? Like, what is absolutely wrong with that?
I'm telling you, Brent just thinks it's too lazy. He thinks they should have went a little bit harder.
You are giving him that excuse.
I'm trying to because it's the only thing that makes sense.
They should have did better. Yeah, I'm with that. They
Okay,
shoulda did
thank
better.
you. Exactly. See?
Yes.
Yeah. Wish I
They
could high
were
five.
late.
High five through
They were
Skype.
bums. I'm not giving them credit for that shit. I'm not giving you a pass. No. Oh,
I'll take that. That works. Like I said, we'll just blame it on the fact that it was New York.
Y'all better quit being embarrassed to eat in front of
Come on,
black. Y'all better quit being embarrassed to eat in front of white people.
that's never happened to me. But
Got real
this is man, fuck that. Black History Month meal, that was the best thing. Fuck that. No.
They definitely could have
What's
done
next
more,
time?
but as
Oh,
far as
yeah,
that,
absolutely.
they definitely could have done more. That
I just
has
have a
been
Black
agreed
History
on
Month meal
across the
in
board. That is
itself
being
kinda
agreed on.
Stupid.
What's that?
Right.
One, I'm with you there. And they already set themselves up for failure. So they knew what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to do this menstrual cycle meal,
Oh,
Jesus
whatever.
Christ.
Wait a minute.
So if it's
Wait a
so are we
minute.
straight up minstrels for eating that shit in any other
That
day?
means you can't eat it ever
who can?
because
You can't.
You
If you're
can't
just gonna
label
go
it in
like
this
if you're
situation.
gonna call it minstrel, if you're calling it minstrel show food, are you saying that you're not going to be eating that?
Am I not going to eat?
Are you not going to be
Ribs,
eating
man.
barbecue ribs? Are you not going to be eating collard greens? Are you not going to be eating macaroni and cheese? Are you not going to be drinking any kind of flavored sugar water?
Yeah,
Don't say
I don't
watermelon.
drink flavored sugar water anyway.
All right. Well,
So
anyways, the first three, the food.
I'm
The
not.
food's what
I'm not
matters.
hurt on most of these things, so I'm good.
You can go without mac and cheese?
Yeah, I only eat mac and cheese like once a year, and that's
Nigga,
Thanksgiving.
you different.
Me neither.
Like-
I don't eat it that much
like-
either. But
Very few people make mac and cheese like really the how I like. So either I make it or my grandmother makes it, and I learned from her. I only really eat mac and cheese Thanksgiving.
All right, and you don't eat
shells.
barbecue ribs.
Couldn't tell you the last time I had ribs.
Okay. All right. This is so.
And
Just
So-
like that.
The least valuable item on that menu, in my opinion. You are okay with eating without, well, I think everybody's okay with not eating collard greens. But
fine.
That's a lie. I live off some kind of
all right, well then, all right. There we go.
Everybody
I'm
has
telling
their
you, that's like
food.
a Sunday in my house every day this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Fire
Has
grill up,
any
let's
of
go.
y'all's menu just been this? That's all I want to know.
What do you mean?
In the last,
You could probably add like
6
some.
months.
You could last 6
It
months.
was just in the last 6 months. Has
Winter?
anybody's menu just been ribs, barbecue
No,
ribs,
because I would
mac
have
and
to.
cheese, collard greens?
If I'm just
Well,
cooking
yes.
for, if
I
I'm
had,
just cooking
I had
for
mashed
two,
potatoes instead of collard greens. That's the only difference with mine. Everything
Okay.
else was the same.
And that was it. Just mash, or y'all had other sides too.
No, that was it. Yeah, that was it. That was
yeah, just
dinner.
you don't need more.
Just those
like,
three
if I'm eat-
things?
if it's just if you're eating for two, you don't need more than 3 items. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It cut out. Are you talking to me?
I was just cooking
I
dinner.
was talking to everybody, I guess, but
Yeah, I
I
was cooking dinner.
don't hear them anymore.
Really?
wait, are we? Can you not hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
I have no more topics, so
Can he not hear us?
I don't know. That's
I'll
weird.
just say
Let me
this.
check something.
Because since it's me and you now, Shayna, I don't know where everybody else went.
Nigga, we're recording. What do you mean?
Just keep it going. Just keep it going.
Oh
I
man!
don't know what happened.
All
That's
right
weird.
then. And something might have happened over there. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's what he was listening to.
Maybe too. I can't hear him anymore anyway. Yeah, I can't hear him
It
anymore.
just cut.
Did you cut? Okay.
Well, that
Something
explains
happened.
that. So.
Well, okay, that was weird. I'm gonna check that. Go ahead. See what else. What else? Do we have any other topics?
I wanted to pretty much shit on 2 different things that came about, and one of them being the trailer for a reboot of Reboot.
Oh yeah.
All right, so hold on. Let me. While he's stalling for time, here's what I'm gonna do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for playing that national anthem by Fergie as the introduction. Yeah, I see. She's laughing at that. I thought it was gonna be funny, but it just kind of felt sad the more I started listening to it, and it got brought to my attention where this wasn't the first time that she's done some extra shit during singing. So apparently on Good Morning America, she was performing one song. I think something was called Barracuda. I don't know if it was supposed to be a cover or if she had her own version of Barracuda that she was trying to sing. So she was doing that. And near the part where it was like a breakdown, or a so-called breakdown, she was doing cartwheels while she was singing, or she was doing a handspring while she was singing. And so each time she was doing it, she sounded like, I'm gonna splice it in there. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna splice it in for the video and the audio, because that made no damn sense for her to be doing that. So there's that. I couldn't help but, I didn't even watch the All-Star game, but I thought that was just hilarious how that was the most memorable part of All-Star weekend. Never mind the game, never mind the dunk contest, 3-point contest, none of that. Her singing on I don't know, her style or the tone she was going for, it seemed like she was supposed to be singing on a piano, like Jessica Rabbit style, and that just didn't work at all. And then like people were sitting going, like, oh, she was trying to do like a Marvin Gaye thing. She's not Marvin Gaye. I don't know why you would sit there and try to throw that in there. And now he's back.
Well, it seemed like I can't get it to reconnect to Skype, so I don't know what the hell it's doing. So
connection maybe?
Yeah, it's doing something weird. But it says it's got internet, so I don't know why it's not connected to Skype specifically. But yeah, I think like a lot of people were saying like her vibe that she was giving off when she was trying to do that was like more so along the lines of something like what was it? Like that, like you said, like a jazzy type. Yeah, like she was trying to do like a jazzy kind of weird sound, and it just didn't come off.
Birthday,
yeah, exactly.
Mr. President.
Girl, my family's here. What are you doing? Hey, put your clothes back on. What are you doing? But yeah, it was, and it was so funny because people immediately posted the Carl Lewis anthem, which is like one of the most famous like mess up anthems.
Oh, okay.
When he just completely just like hit the wrong note and it just completely screwed up.
I have to look at that again.
Yeah.
Oh,
that one's hilarious.
Oh man.
Even this one wasn't that bad. At least she made it through the song without like completely hitting the wall.
And then at the end try to go like, let's play some basketball. So
and I don't know if I want to play anymore. Do you? I don't really feel like
it's like let's remember why we're here.
Right, yeah.
Let me move along.
Everybody's like, I forgot. I'm about to just walk out. You look at the players are just wandering out of the stadium, like confused, like they just got like blinded by a light. Like what time is it?
Oh my god. So what I was about to talk about. Did you see this trailer for? It was like reboot.
Reboot.
It was a reboot for reboot.
Now I'll tell you how I found out about it is by, of course, one of the people that we both listen to. And who's a big reboot fan?
Willie from Super Best Friends.
Willie from Super Best Friends. Like everybody was just sending it to him.
Oh,
was bombarding him with it.
I didn't even catch.
And he was like, no.
Realized.
He was just like, no. He was like, no, get away, no. Like he was trying to avoid like somebody like trying to let him taste something that he didn't like. He was nope.
I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah, so that was kind of where I first saw it pop up. But other than that, I haven't seen the whole thing.
It's like a 2-minute trailer, and it is trash.
Really?
It looks like, from what I remember watching it, it looked like a... what's that studio? I think it's called The Asylum, where they keep making those rip-off versions of blockbuster movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like instead of a Pacific Rim, they made a movie called Atlantic Rim.
Yeah.
Instead of Guardians of the Galaxy, it's Gatekeepers of the Universe or some shit like that. I'm making that up off the top of my head.
But I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so it looked like an Asylum version of Power Rangers.
Right, yeah.
It was just 5 teenagers in school. They're in detention. They find some secret little thing that they transform into, and then they got to fight again. And it's just like, it didn't make sense. The main villain, Megabyte, is being controlled by some dorky looking neckbeard. Yeah. He's not even voiced by Tim Curry like he was in the he played Megabyte. Let me double check.
Well, that makes sense because Tim Curry is not in the same condition that he was obviously back then.
Oh, is he
health-wise?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
I think he had a stroke, I believe. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, Reboot's been around for 8 years, 1994 to 2002.
It lasted that long?
According to IMDb.
I feel like I stopped watching in like 98, 6.
I stopped watching it once it got And once it was no longer, oh, I'm sorry, it was Tony J that played
Oh.
Megabyte.
Okay.
So it wasn't Tim Curry. I must have mistook him for some other character, but
Okay.
yeah. Oh, and Tony J died in 2006
Okay. Gotcha.
at the age of 73. So there's that.
Gotcha.
It looks awful.
I'm so surprised. Do we know exactly who was behind this? Like trying to get this?
Not a clue.
Just some random people.
I could look it back. Let me look it up again.
The thing is, it could, especially with the. We all know. I mean, even if you like that show, it looked like ass back then.
Yeah.
Especially in hindsight. Now in this,
it's called Reboot the Guardian Code.
That sounds way too
coming out. Oh, it's coming out on Netflix. I forgot about that shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, near the end of March.
We might have to hate watch it.
Yeah, this is the call to arms to boycott Netflix.
Yeah, right.
Over some damn over this reboot.
Over reboot. The fact that we could
fuck that shit Monique was talking about. This is the reason
on the reboot. Yeah.
This is the reason we need to boycott Netflix.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's one of those things where they could have done it right. You feel like, right? Like in this day and age with the technology we have, especially in filmmaking and visual effects,
you would think
like they could have pulled off something a little bit better if somebody would have actually put the time in with this property. Like we said, it looked bad back in the day in hindsight, but we thought it looked amazing.
Right.
But of course, that was of the times, that was the best 3D animation stuff we had seen so far. It looked like a video game, and it kind of played out like one.
Until like Beast Wars or that's the first other animated 3D animated show I can think of.
Right, exactly.
And yeah.
So somebody could have done this correct. And now that's what I was going to say too. Was it I forgot. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those, I was trying to think of a way for them to do it. I don't know. If they would have just did like straight up like hire a bunch of actors and do it like completely live action and go crazy, or if it needs to be like
green screen or
I mean, it would have had to be heavily green screen. I mean, we're talking like Tron levels of green screen if it had been done right. But the thing is, it could have been done right.
Yeah,
I mean, if we can bring the book Ready Player One to life, I mean, shit, we should be able to do that. You would think, but
I don't know. Yeah,
what that said.
Yeah, they had to cut. They cut the budget on this because they thought they were going to pay Monique.
We was gonna make this movie.
Around.
Yeah, we was gonna make this movie better.
Everything is cyclical.
Yeah.
Speaking of trash,
oh God, that's hilarious.
Have you interacted with or watched anything from Metal Gear Survive?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it because I've been like, from when they first showed it to now, I've always been on the fence of, I feel almost obligated to hate this game just because everybody else I feel like is in that same place because of everybody's love for Kojima and kind of the way that pretty much just nuked itself. That relationship seemed to go up in flames in a very negative way. We obviously don't know exactly what happened because Kojima can't talk and Konami's not gonna talk.
Right.
But from what it seems like, everybody is pretty much on Kojima's side. So I've been following this game in one of the ways where I'm like, well, if it was just co-op Metal Gear 5, that sounds amazing. Because Metal Gear 5 is fucking like one of the, like it's perfect.
Yeah.
It got like 10s across the board. It's an amazing game. If you could play with your buddies just in that, and yeah, we're going to throw in some zombies because we got to throw in fucking zombies and brainless monsters and everything.
Right.
Fine. But it seems like not only did they change the kind of general makeup of the game and the whole purpose of the game, and it's more of a survival game, which was funny because even though that's in the title, that seemed to be very lost on a lot of people. Even myself, where it was like, oh yeah, it had, when I started seeing it had survival elements, I was like, oh, that makes sense because the fucking name Survive. But with that being said, it seems like it not only is not a Metal Gear game with co-op, it's lost a lot of this heart and soul that made Metal Gear 5 like what it is.
Yeah.
As far as like being really good in gameplay, batshit crazy, but awesome in story, and just good across and just great across the board. The other interesting thing is it's been swirling around, and obviously nobody's been able to confirm it, but apparently this was originally Kojima's idea, and it just is something that he kind of like left it, probably fragments of the idea, and then whoever's left over at Konami just took those fragments, took the engine, and then tried to like piece it together, and probably didn't, I guess, lost some of the ideology that probably Kojima would have had in there.
Right.
And some of the stuff that probably would have made it better. Because it's not been doing great.
No, and have you seen any of the gameplay? Have you watched any of this, like anybody do story mode or anything like that?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of the gameplay in general. It seems like the way, it seems like it's very kind of bland / in some ways unreasonably difficult when you first like get into it, because there's so much like obviously resource gathering stuff for the survival elements of it, but it just kind of like beats you over the head with it where you feel like you can't get ahead. But then when they say when it gets a little bit farther into it, it starts to get more of a flow to it and it starts to become more fun. But that's like 10 hours into it, which a lot of times is it's too long for anybody to put into a game before it gets good, quote unquote. Other than that, I've heard the co-op is actually pretty fun, but then the combat overall is not that great. But there's pieces there that could be great. It's one of those games that I know probably 100% will be free on PlayStation Plus eventually.
Yeah.
And when it does, I think it'll be a good thing for people to pick up and then co-op fuck around with. But even at its discounted price of $40, I still don't think it's worth it yet.
No. Wait for that shit to drop at least significantly.
Yeah, and I mean, like when it drops to 20 or even like I said, when most likely it becomes free, which I pretty much feel like it's gonna be free at some point on like PlayStation Plus or something.
Yeah, I figured.
I think it could be something just to pick up and like screw around with and co-op and just see what's there. But it just doesn't seem like it come to fruition. And it even if it was good, let's say even if it was getting like 8s or 9s, it still has this huge barrier up against it that it's like, that's the game that fucked over Kojima. Get him. Like, don't buy it. Fuck him. So, I mean, I think they would have had a difficult time selling it regardless. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would have had to, like, come out and people would have had to been giving it 10s before people would be like, oh, fuck, I might have to get it. And apparently, one of the other things about it that, like, that was, like, the last straw, because I was still on the fence, like, maybe I'll get it down the road eventually, but this made me actively not want to get it. Yeah. Apparently, if you want another save, you have to pay $10.
To get another save
save slot. Yes. So if you have a character and you want to make another character, you have to pay $10. Like, that's insane.
See, we're finding a lot of shit to boycott.
That's gross. Yeah, exactly.
At this point, that's wild.
Yeah, and that's gross too.
That is. That's disgusting.
Yeah, and that was a big thing, and that's not going to fly over. That's just another ingredient for people to hate it even more.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I'd say everybody can pretty much avoid that game pretty easily without having to worry about it. But yeah, anything else? Are we good to close out?
I think we should close out. That's all I can think of at this moment.
Yeah, thanks Shayna and Brent for joining us. Sorry about the weird, I don't know, weird technical difficulty.
I think I know what might have happened, but we'll talk about it behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that being said, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it.
Contact, sir.
I'm at KNKidSwift on Twitter. I'm at future_ASC on Instagram. You can follow me on there. And, of course, you can find me on Facebook the old-fashioned way. Join our Facebook group, of course, as always.
Facebook group. Like the Facebook page. Comment, and subscribe on the YouTube page. We're trying to upload as much as possible, or each time that we catch this on Tuesday.
Let us know how our new set is. Hey.
Shayna NB, at Shayna NB on Twitter and Instagram. LLCoolby22 on Twitter and Instagram to reach Shayna and Brent respectively.
Yes.
I am Web859 on Twitter, Web.859 on Instagram. Do not worry about my Snapchat. I'm just there to lurk.
Hey.
Like always, check us out at OafDiscussions on Twitter and Instagram. Reach out to us on any form of podcast streaming service that you use. Spotify, we're getting there with Spotify. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Almost.
Google Play, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, those platforms. As we mentioned already, YouTube. Once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Episode 86.